Testing 1, 2. Testing, testing. All right. Thank you for joining me. My name is Jaquab Ben Yisrael, and Jehovah, thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be with my brethren, for us to get together and speak our own language and try to encourage one another and to talk about things that will interest us, will help us to redeem the time while we're on the earth, Jehovah. I ask for an anointing on the things I say. I pray for wisdom and knowledge that I can share it. I pray for my brethren, for their individual walk, for their faith not to fail, for them to bear fruit while they're in this reality, to always remember that we have been chosen to start bearing fruit right now while we're on the earth in preparation for the time when we go into our spirit bodies, and so that we can begin our resurrection in the highest possible good that we can accomplish, knowing that it starts right here on earth. And we pray for those who are not yet in the light, that they might begin to, that they may be given, that the light might fall upon them too, especially our loved ones. And just Jehovah, I just above all things just pray that you would just spread the light and help us to publicize the OAHSPE and with the project, the Billboard project. And Jehovah, I just ask that you just be with me and help me to do this video in your name. I give thanks and praise. Let it be. All right, brethren, thank you for joining me. I'm thrilled to be with y'all today. I got great news, man. I got great news. The Billboard project that I recently have started, that the unknown many have started. My screen is acting up. Bear with me. There we go. The unknown many, the Billboard project, the Universal Faith to Cosmin, in collaboration with one another. The Billboard project that will begin August 31st. I think the first billboard is August 31st. I think it's like the first week of September. Something happened today that just thrilled my soul, man. It thrilled my soul, and I'm so glad to be able to share it with y'all. I was contacted. They contacted me today, the Billboard people. They said the choice that you made for Cincinnati, Ohio, somebody else, it was sold to somebody else. And I guess I got in too late for that location. But then lo and behold, they gave me 100% better location. And I know it's the creator. I'm only hoping that they don't pull the rug out from under me with this new location. Do you know this new location? And I pray, if somebody pulled the rug out from under me, it don't matter. You know, I'm just going to wait them out, and I'm going to wait until these billboard ads, they run for 30 days. You pay a fee, they run for 30 days. So if this particular billboard, if I reserved it, and but I don't know if somebody had reserved it before me. It's a prime location, man, and it is right next to where the Cincinnati Bengals play football. I mean, the cars that are going to the game, they got to almost go right up underneath that sign, that billboard that's going to be put up there. They got to go right up underneath that sign where it's going to say OAHSPE in dark blue background and white lettering. The only hope for humankind. The only hope for humankind. Now, the previous billboard location, somehow that got taken away from me. I think it was the creator. I purchased the previous location. They came back and said, no, somebody else, there was some issue. Somebody else reserved it before you did. And they gave me this new location. And when I saw the location, I said, man, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you really? I mean, you took away the old location and give me a better one? You know it was the creator. There's no other reason for what happened, man. The billboard is right next to where the Cincinnati Bengals play football. The lady sent me an email. She said, we're sorry, we had to take away the Cincinnati location. Why don't you go back on the website and choose a new billboard site? We can guarantee you that those billboard sites are right now available. Just go online, go onto the site. Matter of fact, I'm going to send you the link. I'm going to get online with you. I'm going to do a Zoom conference call with you right now, and we're going to do it together. You're going to pick a location. We're going to reserve it, and I'm going to guarantee it. So I got on the website. I picked out a location. They got these blue dots, and you just click on it, and it'll show you where the location is. And so I wanted naturally a location where it's pretty populated. Metro. And I clicked on this spot, this little dot, and the picture that came up was the stadium. Right, you can see the stadium. And cars got to almost pass right up under that sign, man, to get to the parking lot. And I clicked on it. I told that lady, I said, is this really available right here? This location, you're telling me it's available? She said, yeah. I said, I'm reserving it right now. She said, go ahead. I punched the button. It was reserved. She said, okay, now all we got to do is you've already uploaded the artwork, and we're just going to approve that, and then it's going to be yours for a whole month. It's going to be reserved to you, and it's going to run starting September, I think, 6th. It's going to run for a whole month till October something. And so all I'm saying to say all that, brethren, is get ready, man. Get ready, man. Get ready. The unknown many, and in collaboration with the Universal Faithists of Cosmin, man, we are getting busy. We already got a billboard up the billboard in Florida. Matter of fact, here, let me show you what the billboard looks like. I think you brethren already know. Let me show you again. The billboard that one is Cincinnati. Boy, I could have jumped up and down for joy, man. I mean, I was fit to be tied. I was so glad, because you see the creator working. You see him working, man. He took away the location I had before, which was right by the freeway, and he gave me something a billion times. I just can't believe it. Now, I'm bringing up what the sign is going to look like. I'm bringing up what the billboard is going to look like. In all the cities, unless, we had a conference call last Wednesday, and the brethren got together, and bear with me a second. the brethren got together and we were deciding on what name we could come up with. Okay, now this is it right here. We were deciding on what we want to put on the next billboards that are coming up. We had a conference call. We did like a little group session to determine what to put on the next billboards that are going up all over America and then to the world. The objective with the billboard project is to put up a billboard in every state in America, and then to go overseas. Now, you brethren, anyone listening to this video, you got an opportunity to join us. I got a link there in the video comment section. I got a link there for, I put up I created a GoFundMe site where you can donate and help us with the funding to put up these billboards all over America and the world. It's a link in the video comment section of my channel here. You can check it out if you want to help out. It's a good opportunity for brethren to chip in and all of us to play a part in this project. And something else I wanted to say. Let's see, I forgot. I think I mentioned that the first billboard, all three of them, there's one in Arizona, there's one in Florida, and there's one in Cincinnati, and all of them are scheduled to go up. And I know by the end of the first week of September, all of them are going to be scheduled to go up. So the OAHSPE is getting ready to be introduced into the mainstream powerfully. It's going to be introduced into the mainstream. And I just happen to believe that we will possibly be called upon to represent the OAHSPE even near where we live. Now, this is a project that anybody where you live, if you can, you don't have to contribute to what we're doing. You can do it yourself. But if you want to contribute, and there's a link there, there's a way for you to do it. That's a picture of the billboard that's going to go up all over America. So that's the good news. I'm excited about it. The creator is giving us the inspiration, giving us the idea to publicize the OAHSPE. There ain't nothing wrong with it. We're not trying to develop a fellowship. We're not trying to start a church. We're trying to publicize it. We're trying to introduce it into the mainstream. That's all we're trying to do. We're not trying to make $1 billion or anything like that. All we're trying to do is publicize it. So this here billboard, this is an example of what's going to go up. Absent my phone number there, this is an example of what's going to go up all over America, all over the world, unless we decide on different wording on the different billboards. We had a meeting again, the Bible talk on Wednesday. We've been discussing what can we put on the billboard that'll grab people, just grab them. We trying to just get their attention, spark their curiosity. That's why the phrase here is so controversial. It's kind of audacious, the only hope for humankind. And so I'm just thrilled to share that with you, brethren. The creator, I'm so thrilled that he gave us the idea to put up billboards and to bring the OAHSPE into the mainstream, to bring it to people's attention. So hope it encourages you, brethren. I hope that it really lights a fire, and when people find out how the creator is coming against religion, coming against intermediaries, coming against calling people to take their faith seriously and challenge them. If you feel you are serious about You take yourself seriously, and your spirituality. Well, the Creator, He's going to find out about that. He getting ready to find out about that, and I just love it, man. I'm so glad to be a part of it, and I hope you brethren join us too. There's a link in the video comment section. You can make a donation if you want to help with the funding costs to put up the billboards. All right, enough said there. This is the website that if you want ministry and information, let me bring up the website. Let's see. You can go here for, if I could ever find it, bring up the screen, the right screen. First of all, I'm on the wrong screen. Okay, here we go. Here's the website for the Universal Faithists of Cosman, where you can go for ministry and information. They have a Wednesday study. They have a healing basket ministry, brethren getting together, praying for one another, healing one another. Saturday meditation. Here's the creed that the Faithists are the things that we believe in, what we are, and what we're all about. You can read it yourself. Stop screen, read it yourself. It'll give you a good idea about what we're all about, what we believe, that sort of thing. So also, there's more information, the archives, where you can listen to past Bible studies. You can find out a little bit about how we've gotten to the point where we are now, and the history of faithism, and the OAHSPE, and how it came to be. So I wanted to let me see. Also, I forgot to put up the one where the link where you can get, if you are interested in trying to find out, you just coming into the OAHSPE, it's new to you, you don't know what we're talking about, and maybe you started reading the OAHSPE a little bit and you didn't have the funds to get one for yourself. You can go to the website here and they'll give you a free OAHSPE. You just send an email to these brethren right here. They'll send you a free one. And then in addition to that, they'll ask you if you want Radiance Anthology. That's a book of like angel messages. And that seems to be really popular. I hope I get a chance to read from some of the Radiance Anthology today, if I can remember. Send the email to these brethren here. They'll send you the OAHSPE. Send it to you, And then on top of that, there's the Unknown Many have put out a supplement. They put out a supplement to the OAHSPE. It's a 6-volume set. You check it out. It's meant to just be a supplement, not to replace the OAHSPE in any way, shape, or form, but it's meant to it's meant to get your attention. It's meant to spark your curiosity. 6-volume set. I got my contact information in the video comment section. You can get, if I just ask you don't take advantage of me. If you can't get it on Amazon, its price as low as it'll go. You're a little short on funds, you want the 6-volume set, you contact me, I'll send it to you for free, and it'll be my pleasure. And then in the video comment section of the video here, there's a Books to Prison ministry, where if you want, you click on that link, it'll bring up all the different states, and it'll show you how you can send the OAHSPE to prisons, send them to prisons all over the United States. How do you like that? So that's that. Now, the name of the study is called "The Creator Condemns Capitalism," and another I'm also going to do a little study on what the Bible doesn't know that the OAHSPE knows. Things the OAHSPE knows, but the Bible does not. Going to take a little look at that. So let's go ahead and get started. Capitalism. First of all, we should take a look at the definition of what is capitalism, Western capitalism. It'll give us a good foundation if we took a little look at the definition of the word, or, although I'm sure all of y'all pretty much know what what it is, and the definition of it. Okay, now capitalism is an economic system where private individuals and businesses own the tools, factories, and resources used to make goods, known as the means of production. Western capitalism specifically refers to this model as it is developed in Western Europe and North America, driven by free markets, competitive pricing, and individual profit. Now, having said that, now I've got a little study that I did on it from the OAHSPE point of view. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because everywhere you turn, if you're in my situation, I'm basically retired, can spend a lot of time, pursuing my own interests, which is to redeem the time, to learn about the light the Creator has given us, so I can just redeem the time while I'm on the earth, and to share the light to the best of my ability. If you're like me and Creator is, put you in a situation where you're able to try to minister to your, to grow your spirit, to grow your spiritual grade, that sort of thing, then you take note of what's going on in the world we live in. And I've been talking about it a lot on my videos, trying to impress upon anybody that will listen that if you look at the world, you can learn a lot, man. You can learn a lot about the power of false gods, the power of the earth, the power of the flesh. You could learn a lot, man, about what it means to be in a struggle. Now, we all know that the things that we're going through now, it's only temporary, It's only temporary in comparison to eternity. And you face this, you've been blessed with the ability to realize, to understand that we basically are, one of the interesting things the OAHSPE says is it talks about we haven't even been born yet. The OAHSPE says we have not even been born yet. And I love to according to my highest light, according to what I know about the OAHSPE, share about what I think that means when we're not born yet. I like to equate it to how you look at the world, and there are children who are born in the world, and they real gifted. They are really gifted, man. You got stories of children reading encyclopedias at, 3-4 years of age, memorizing stuff, gifts of the spirit, man, and I equate that to what faithists are going through now. It seems like we know we are not even born yet. The Creator says we're not even born yet. He says we're in the womb of the earth. We're in the womb, and the earth being the densest, darkest region. It's just like physical birth. You got the sperm, you got the egg, you got the impregnation, you got the fertilization, process, and it's done in darkness. And same thing for the earth. We on the earth. The Creator says it's the densest region of the heavens. It's the densest region of the heavens. It's hard to understand because we're alive. We see things. We're conscious. And the Creator is saying, you're not even born yet. You are not even born yet. And so I have to think that when you look at the world and you see children and they're really gifted, man, they're like autistic, gifted children, and it's a mystery. But I think the mystery is that the Creator is showing us what the reality for faithists will be. Like we're born into the spirit, and it's like we're different, we're gifted, we're, the spirits that did not want to come into the resurrection while they were on earth. It's like they look at you and say, why do they get to stay there and I have to be here? Why are they privileged? Why am I not? Now I could be wrong. I'm just speculating. I'm just trying to share we are told to make ourselves. We are told to make ourselves. Now, see, if you really see, that's why I love that sign going up, man. It just blessed my soul, man. And I'm going to send y'all a picture. I'm going to put up a picture when all them billboards go up. I'm a send pics. I'll publish the pictures here on my channel just to let you brethren know, man, we ain't gonna be in a corner no more. We are getting ready to go mainstream. The OAHSPE is getting ready to go mainstream, man. You know, and I love it, man. And I hope that the Creator, I hope that his objective is to bring brethren out of the shadows. Bring them out, man. Make you a point of light in all of America, man, wherever faith this is, and the knowledge of the OAHSPE goes out, and then it fall on you to give an answer. To give an answer, man, as the knowledge of the OAHSPE spreads and it goes out. I hope that this is the beginning of the kingdom on earth, in the sense that people, we really start to come together. We really start to be a fellowship of brethren. We really, people, they start talking about the OAHSPE on the internet, on TV, and the news. I got big dreams, man. I hope it catches fire. I hope this is the Creator. I hope this is him saying, man, now the time has come. All it takes is one match head, man, that could set a whole state on fire. A whole state on fire, brethren, But I digress, man. When we're born into the Spirit, man, who knows if, because of being faithists, practicing faithism on the earth, the same, that by being born in the Spirit, then brethren brethren are born like gifted, I know that they're born into they're not born into the chaotic regions of the spiritual. I know they don't go to the chaotic regions of the first resurrection. Faithists, they go to their own kind, man, their own kind. Our brethren don't go to everybody when they cross over to the Spirit. Our brethren, the second resurrection angels, they don't go and they don't do the same things for spirits that cross over and do not make the resurrection. They don't minister to them the same way they minister to a faithist. It's a terrible shame, man, because we always got to learn when it's too late. And capitalism is that's a huge reason. Because it basically inspires you to the love of flesh, the love of self, vanity, vainglory, capitalism. And so I did a little study on the difference between, and I think I talked a little bit about it before, I'm gonna do it again, like capitalism in comparison to Ethereal kingdoms, with the objective to spark, to create in faithists, to encourage them to know of what our future holds for all of us. The comparison between capitalism and faithism. Capitalism and faithism. Make sure I got it on the screen. Yeah. Something to keep in mind, man, because we here in the land of darkness and many distractions, we see a whole world of people who are willing to give, to spend their whole energy, all their life, man, on the things of the material, the things of the temporary, the things of the flesh, things of the self. We see every day, man, Capitalism, man, it appeals to the flesh, and that's the strongest point that it has. It appeals to the flesh. American capitalism is as practiced on the earth. And the Ethereal heavens, as described in OAHSPE, represent two radically different orders of existence. One corporal, competitive and material, the other ethereal, cooperative and spiritual. American capitalism, the earthly realm, and I would even say that's one of the heads of the beast. Now, according to the OAHSPE, the beast is Brahmanism, Hinduism, Christianity, Mohammedanism. I would even include capitalism, American capitalism, because it is very powerful to draw people, to keep people tied to the earth. To keep people tied to the earth. When you got the four beasts, the religions of the world, they tie people to false gods. Here, American capitalism, it ties people to the earth. You see people doing crazy things on video for the love of the flesh. People trying to walk into a dealership, write a false check to try to buy a car, or people who they have ways of trying to scam a business to try to get, like, go in and buy something. Or even when you look at people who they shoplift, and there's plenty of those type of videos. They go in, they shoplift, walk out with big carts, man, big, like a cart full of the boxes. The cart is higher than the person pushing the cart. They load it up and actually think they can just walk out. That's how deceived the spirit, the pull of the flesh can be in the world. And it's not getting better, because I've been sparing you guys talking about the financial situation, talking about 30-year bonds, 10-year bonds, the economic crisis that Japan is in. I've been talking enough about the oil and gas shortage. You brethren, you know about that, I haven't even been talking about how, like Japan and the financial crisis that they're going through that will affect the United States because their money is tied to our money, and the bonds that they hold, which are ours. And if they sell them, then that means that we have to pay higher prices back here at home, meaning your mortgages, meaning your property taxes, meaning your services, all that stuff. See, we get affected. Right now, it seems like capitalism has brought this Western hemisphere to a place where if I just got enough for today to get something to satisfy my flesh, I'm good to go. I hate to say it. It seems like that's the level we're on. If I got enough in my pocket to reach in my pocket to get something from fast food, then it takes my mind off of my bills and my mortgage and my insurance policies and the gas and the electric bill. And you know what I mean? Temporary contentment is replacing foresight, long-term foresight, man. That's the power of capitalism. That's the power of the earth. That's the whole pull of capitalism. It's geared towards meeting the needs of our immediate senses. It's very proficient at doing that, giving us quick solutions at the expense of your spirit. American capitalism on the earthly realm. So now the study is giving us a picture of what capitalism is. It says, picture a vast, bustling marketplace of the material world, individuals and corporations competing for resources, wealth, and status under systems of private property, free enterprise, and market exchange. So right off the bat, we're under a system where we compete with one another. We got to compete with one another. We got to compete right off the bat, man. That's one of the biggest things, right? And there are people in the world who are more gifted than other people so far as acquisition of resources, able to they have different talents. There are people with great money-making abilities, great business acumen, great financial, savvy, and how to turn a buck. And not everybody's on the same level, man. You know what I mean? And we're in a system where the people who have those gifts and they have those abilities, they're always going to rule over those who don't. And the flesh is going to see to it that it will. That's what capitalism is, capitalizing. That's where the few will always rule over the many, man. And they will take advantage of them, to take advantage of your brother, to get you to use your time for their benefit at the greatest benefit to them and the least payout to you. That's the nature of man. That is the nature of man. You know, I talk all the time about the president and how he secretly, money is everything to him. But when he's in front of the camera, he's talking about some policies, talking about how, great you are and you're good patriots and how great it is. And we're doing so great and the stock market's doing good. And, don't worry, I got it under control and everything. There seems like there's a problem over here, but we got it. Don't worry about it. And all the time, this is a man that's lining his pockets, man. So what do you think? Even in the Bible, what's interesting? The Bible says something. Bear with me a second. Let me see if I can find it. As the king is, so are his subjects. Is that Ecclesiastes 10:2? This is the situation we're in right here. This is the situation we're in a nutshell. As the judge of the people is himself, as the judge of the people is himself, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. Now, if you just paraphrase that, you know what it's saying? It's, if the people see the leader getting away with it and skirting the law and lining his pockets, the people are going to do the same thing. They're going to do the same thing. If the president is involved in enriching himself and breaking the law and never suffering the consequences for it, and they see their congressmen and their senators being bought off with money, corrupting them, showing a lack of character and dignity, what do you think the people are going to be like? They're going to be prone to walk into a store and do the same thing they see their leaders doing. See? They're going to shoplift. They're going to steal. They're going to defraud. They're going to sacrifice their character, their dignity, and they're going to reason that it's the people at the top, they do it, so I should be able to do the same thing, See? Capitalism, man. Do you know that capitalism, that if we were to look at it, you know what I mean? Capitalism. If we were to go back, see, the OAHSPE, man, it basically it talks to us about the British, how Louis Mong, he found the people that he could use, remember? And what is it, Escra or Divinity or Knowledge? I forget where it's at. It talks about Louis Mong, and he found the British as the people that he could use, that he could, he inspired them to British colonialism, India, China, and even got him to, Louis Mong to bring his people over to the United States and to hijack it, which he did successfully. And in doing so, the colonialism, basically the system that we have right now, is kind of like an offshoot of it, where we take advantage. The primary objective is to take advantage, is for those with means and riches to take advantage of those without means and riches. We have a system that's supposed to be, it's only a system, it's only a government in name only, in a sense that it has very lofty ideas on paper for the governance of men and equity of all men and people. On paper, that's the way it's written. But in practical and actuality, when you're dealing with the human heart, the only thing that can legislate, that can moralize the human heart is the Creator. He's the only one that can do it, man. So men can sit down, have conventions, write constitutions and laws that sound good, and everybody treated fairly and all this and that. But it boils down to the human heart, man. If you cannot legislate, if you cannot govern the human heart, there's no system that will ever meet the needs of the people that it serves. Plain and simple. That's the situation we in. We in that situation, man. People be talking about elections. We got to vote them out. We got to vote in new people. You're going to vote in. They're going to do the same thing that the people are doing. We never learn. We in the system. We're like a hamster on a treadmill, man. You know, have you ever seen a hamster on a treadmill? You know, he just constantly, a hamster on a treadmill, man. He just running in the circles, you know. He runs in circles, man. That's all. That's our reality. You know, that's our reality, right? I hate to say it, man. You know, unless the human heart, unless someone can legislate the human heart, forget about it. Only the Creator can do it. How does he do it? He sits you down and he start talking to you about the consequences of your choices. You see, he just sit you down. He don't try to force you. He know you got free will. He don't violate it. He sit you down. He don't even sit you down. He just say, here, go to OAHSPE. If you want, you can check it out. If not, it's okay. But you still must pay for, you still must suffer, you still must reap what you sow. It ain't no getting around that. There ain't no getting around that, man. You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow, man, you know? No way, unless you can legislate the human heart, you show them, hey, this will surely come upon you, man. Not to threaten you. Not the Creator, he's not into that. You know, it's just like if you run a stop sign, you're gonna get a ticket. It ain't nothing personal. You know, it's nothing personal, man. You know, it's just the way it is. Same thing in the spiritual. The Creator, he tells you, now you make the decision. Do you want to redeem the time or not? Do you want to serve the flesh or not? American capitalism on the earthly realm, it gives us a picture. It says, picture a vast, bustling marketplace in the material world. Individuals and corporations competing for resources, wealth, and status under systems of private property, free enterprise, and market exchange. Success is measured in accumulation. You hear that? That's called America. Really, it's called the world, really. That principle is in the whole world. What you got, how much you got. Success is measured in accumulation. Money, assets, innovation, and growth. Labor is often exchanged for wages. Incentives drive efficiency. Incentives drive efficiency. Incentives drive efficiency. So there it is. You know, you outcompete. You automatically encouraged to outperform, outcompete, you know, your brother. Incentives drive efficiency and invention. Inequality arises naturally from differing talents, efforts, and luck. Governments set rules. Now, see, that's another reason why we just can't make it. We just can't make it, man. You know, I'm sorry to say that. You know, I mean, the systems, the governments and the forms of, you know, that the Creator has allowed mankind to be set up have been imperfect, but they have served a purpose. You know, when we were created, and then we needed a strong ruler to keep us in line, you know, or else you have people just hunting other people down and killing them, you know. The animal kingdom, you need a strong leader, you know, who won't hesitate to slice your head off if you do any harm to any of his subjects in his kingdom, and that keeps everybody in line. And then you go from a little monarchy to a republic, or I forget the forms of government that the OAHSPE says we progress. We go from this to this to this to this. Right now we're in there's a name for it. I forget what it is. There's 4 different types of governments that the creator, he raised us up from the time we were created to where we are now, where we're supposed to be like a representative democracy, or, I forget. There are 4 governments, that the creator, he used from ancient history to bring us to constantly get us to grow in our our abilities to resurrect ourselves, which would involve eventually going from being so beast-like selfish to learning how to live with one another, to serve one another, and then to add spirituality to that, where we learn to align ourselves with the creator. It's been a process. All these last, the story of man, according to the OAHSPE, is for us to eventually realize the higher kingdoms, to learn to live with one another, to learn to serve one another. The creator's plan is it's for our complete 100% content, satisfaction, and joy, glory, and honor, which we can't see right now because we're really tied to the flesh pretty heavily. Governments set rules, and when you have people in government you have a majority of people in government, and you have a majority of a kind of people in government, do you think that they're going to be driven to do things that will? Do you think people are going to hurt their own kind? You see what I'm getting at? You see the trap we're in? We have a government that is one-sided in the sense that there's only a certain group of people who have been historically in charge. And what do you think they're going to do when they get a hold of power? They're going to make laws and make, legislation that is going to benefit their own kind. It's not going to be based on the principles of the spiritual, the heavenly kingdom, even the Constitution, which the creator tells us to celebrate, the Constitution, the very same document that says that certain people are only 2/3 of a man. You see? So we are in a situation, man, we're here on the earth, man, and, it's like you can see why it's the densest, darkest region. The creator, he's starting us here. And it's up to us to elevate, to not let that situation stagnate our spirit to where we only serve the things that we could see, hear, and feel. He's calling us to a great work, man, a great work, man. We even got governments that work against us, the things we stand for. Governments set rules, meaning property rights, contracts, limited intervention, to enable what? Efficiency, incentives, wages. But the core engine is self-interest channeled productively, meaning the efficient running of resources for the benefit of the owners of resources, which we all need in order to live. They protect their own structure, And OAHSPE's broader cosmology teachings on social orders, such systems belong to the lower corporeal plane, meaning our system that's set up, our form of government, our form of laws, rules, legislation. We're under the lower corporeal plane, our system of government, our social order of government. It's low spiritual grade government that we're under right now. They are transitional stages. See, transitional stages that it's like we have to experience these things because they contribute to our our spirit, our elevation, our spiritual elevation. These things, these governments, these corruptions that we go through, the imbalance, the imperfection of what we're going through right now, they are transitional. They are transitional. I'm still here. I just lost my place. I lost my place. In OAHSPE's broader cosmology and teachings on social order, such systems belong to the lower corporal plane where we live. From monarch from some water. From monarchies to republics. America itself is portrayed as specially reserved and inspired via high-grade spirits influencing figures like the founding fathers to establish freer, less theocratic government, free from enforced gods, lords, and saviors. You know, I want to share something real quick. Something that happened to me today, man. This was really a trip. Somebody called me. He said, I want to pray for you. It was a Christian. I said, how'd you get my number? I said, why in the world are you calling me? He said, well, I see that you've donated to our ministry and I wanted to call you, thank you, and pray for you. I said, I don't donate to Christian ministries. I would never do that. I would never do that, man. I said, this is pretty interesting that you would call me though, you know? And so he said, why is that? I said, because I'm convinced that it's meant for me to tell you that you need to learn about the newest revelation from the Creator. I'm convinced, man, for you to be calling me, I'm thoroughly convinced that I'm supposed to tell you to pick up the OAHSPE and read it and study it. He said, what is that? I said, it's the newest revelation from the Creator. He said, well, I'm a Christian, you know, and I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and I called you because I'm concerned for your soul. I said, man, look, I used to be, you know, I went down that path. I say, hey, man, I used to be a Christian. I got a degree in Bible. You ain't going to tell me nothing that I already know what you're going to say, man, you know? He said, well, I'm just concerned about you, you know? And I said, look, man, can I ask you a question? He said, yeah. I said, is knowledge good? He said, yeah. And then I said, you know, when you go somewhere in the world, you can't get a job without knowledge, right? He said, yeah. I said, do we have universities? He said, yeah. Schools? I said, yeah. He said, yeah. What are they for? He said, to learn. I said, can I show you something now? I set the stage, and then I said, and I wasn't being proud, man. I wanted to set the stage, and I wanted him to agree that to get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is good, right? And so he said, yeah, okay, yeah, I agree with you. I said, if I can talk to you about things you do not know, if I can talk to you about things that you do not know, that the Bible doesn't know, would you be interested? And he said, yeah. And so, you know me, I asked him, what is the difference between a God and a Lord? You know, that's my favorite go-to question. I said, what is the difference between a God and a Lord? He said, they're both the same. Now, this guy was a pastor. He said, they're both the same. I said, can you prove it? He said, Jesus is Lord and Jesus is God. I said, so can I tell you what the difference is? And he said, go ahead. So I told him, I said, a God is much greater than a Lord. You know, a Lord is a position, it's a title for a deity, a spirit on the earth that is in charge of a portion of the land of the earth, you know. But see, I stopped myself right there, you know. I stopped myself right there because I'm under a new spirit now where I don't try to convince people anymore. I don't argue with you unless you really want to know, but I don't go down that road anymore. And so I was starting to tell him, I told him that a little bit, and then I stopped myself. I said, look, I said, Pastor, I'm not going down this road with you, man. You know, I said, it's interesting you called me. I have an ad in the paper calling for brethren who know about the OAHSPE and want to have fellowship. I got an ad in the paper right now. I thought that you might have been calling me because of that ad. Now the ad has stopped running as of the 8th, but here you are calling me. So you can see why I was so intrigued that you know, me telling you, I can't believe you calling me, you know. I had an ad in the paper. I thought you were responding to that. You say I made a donation to your ministry, and I know I didn't do that, you know. But here you are calling me, and I could only think that I'm supposed to share with you that you need to learn about the OAHSPE, pick it up and read it. Now, after all that, and I told him, I said, look, man, I got an appointment in a few minutes, and I did have an appointment. I had to, you know, and he wanted to, you know, he wanted to, you know, how, you know, I'm smarter than you. You know, I could tell it was a white man I was talking to. Not that, I mean, I say that because they seem to want to show my dealings with them. They seem to want to show how smart they are, how much they know. And I could feel that vibration on him. He tried to get me to, you know, he wanted to start debating. He wanted to start arguing and going back, you know, well, you know, wanting to start to question me. And I said, man, no. I ain't doing that no more. I said, how about this? We got AI right now. Why don't you sit down in front of the computer, pull up the OAHSPE on PDF, pull it up. Just pull it up, man. And just go crazy asking AI questions like, what is the difference between the Bible and, you know, the OAHSPE? And just go crazy, man. You know, I said, are you willing to do that? He said, no. Do you know that dude said no? I just got finished talking to that guy about how knowledge is good, how we don't know everything, and sometimes we need to be told. And sometimes, you know, I mean, new things, you know, happen all the time, and we need somebody to, you know, you don't just want to stay ignorant all your life. After I got him to agree to all that, and then I finally say, hey man, look, here's how you can get all your questions answered. You know, sit down, pull up the OAHSPE in PDF, pull up AI, and just start asking all kinds of questions, you know. I said, are you willing to do that? He said, nope. Nope, I don't want to do that. He said, no, I don't want to do that. You see where we live? This is the world we live in. Do you see and do you know that you could go out in the street and talk to somebody and they'll say the same, you know, afraid of knowledge? That really happened. That happened just yesterday, man. Just yesterday. That guy actually told me, nope, I'm not going to do, you wouldn't tell your child that. If your child wanted to know something and you knew how they could get the answer, you wouldn't say to you and your child, and you tried to tell your child, hey, this is how you can get the answer. Okay, now go and do it. And the child said no. You see the twisted type of, you know, the situation we're in. People are afraid of knowledge. You're afraid of knowledge, right? You're afraid of something new. You know what it is? They spirit secretly witnessing to them. Hey, don't do it, man. When you pick up that OAHSPE, you're going to see that you're under deception, you know? That's what I could be wrong, but That's the vibration that come on me that people, nope, they don't want to learn nothing new, man. No, we've been tradition, and no, I've been all my life and I built a mountain and I'm not about to find out anything about it that's wrong. I don't want to hear that. That's how people really are. It just drives me nuts, man. It drives me nuts, man. That's the power of enforced gods, lords, or saviors. That's the power they have in the world. You can't even talk lie. You can't. The OAHSPE, man, it puts words in our mouth, man, that are irrefutable. They are irrefutable. But I've gotten to a point, I say to myself, hey, man, I can tell you what this book says, and you'll tell me what that book says, and we ain't going to get nowhere. The X factor is the spirit. If you got it, you're going to hear this. If you don't, man, now is not your time. It ain't your time. That's the conclusion I come to now. That's why I don't go back and forth with people. I do not go back and forth with people. I'm thankful the Creator has taught me that lesson because it saved you a whole lot of grief, man. It saved you a whole lot of grief. Trying to go back and forth with people, to use logic on people. And, that guy, he said, I said, do this, man. I said, open up the OAHSPE, open up the PDF, and then open up AI and just go crazy. Just couch all your questions and just say, like, according to the OAHSPE, what does it say about this? Pick out a Bible verse and bring it to the AI and say, what, according to according to the OAHSPE, what does it say about that? And then you decide for yourself whether you can receive it. If you can't, then put it down. If you can, then rejoice. See, that's where the spirit, man, that's where the spirit, none of you faithists, you can't give it to nobody. We can't give what we got to somebody. You see, we cannot. Matter of fact, I'm thinking of a verse in the Bible where it says something like that. We cannot give. Matter of fact, do y'all remember the virgins? The virgins is a good story, man. I think it's the virgins I'm thinking of. Give us of your oil. We can't. All we got is enough for ourselves. What does it say? Do y'all know that Bible verse where it says that? It says something to the effect of, I cannot give you what I have. Can anybody think of a verse that says something like, it's something it's true without even needing a Bible verse. You brethren, it's true. What we got, we can't give it to nobody. It's yours. It's just like Dorothy's slippers in The Wizard of Oz. That old witch, remember? She wanted them slippers. She couldn't get them slippers. Same way with faithists, man. We cannot give it to you. We cannot. We want to. We cannot give you our faith, our understanding, our spirit. It's nothing we can do about it, man. We want to, but we cannot. God's Lord Saviors, man, laying groundwork for eventual higher conditions. Yet competitive systems, national terrors, rigid man-made laws are ultimately to be outgrown by the virtuous. The ideal trajectory moves beyond republics toward voluntary fraternities without coercive laws or rulers, where people live by righteousness, peace, love, industry, and mutual regard unto Jehovah. I'm real late. I'm going to close the video here in a half hour. And I wanted to get to the other study. This is a world right here where we live of striving, trade-offs, scarcity, corporal senses focused on physical survival and advancement. Now, when you look at the Ethereal kingdoms, the higher spiritual realms, look at the difference between the Ethereal kingdoms and capitalistic systems of the red star of the earth. It says, now shift the scene upward, far beyond Earth's atmosphere, lower heavens, into the vast ethereal firmament. Here stretch innumerable Ethereal worlds. How do you like that? Crystalline realms. I can't, let me see if I could try to see what a crystalline realm look like? Let's try to see what that even look like, man. You know what I mean? Let's see. Is there a way to even on the internet to like see? Let me see. What does a crystalline realm look like? What does a crystalline realm look like? Look at that. Look at that. Ethereal worlds, man. You know, they start off with the imagery. They start off with what it looked like. You know, a crystalline realm. Look at that. A crystalline realm. You know, they got other pictures here too. A crystalline realm. Look at this. You know, it start off showing you imagery of the Ethereal worlds. Crystalline realms. Now shift the scene upward, talking about Ethereal kingdoms, far beyond Earth's atmosphere and lower heavens into the vast Ethereal firmament. Here stretch innumerable Ethereal worlds, crystalline realms of varying densities and sizes, some Earth size, others vastly larger, some transparent like clear glass or water, others opaque with arches and mountains thousands of miles high, oceans of light, movable chasms, forests of nebulae, plains of brilliant color, endless change under perfect mechanism. These are independent of corporeal planets orbiting and moving their own courses through the firmament. It's too late in the study, man. It's too late. It's just too late in the study. And I want to get to the other one because I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to end the video here in a half hour. The Ethereal realms is compared to capitalistic realms of the earth. Inhabitants are high-raised angels, former mortals from earth or other worlds who have progressed through successive revelations. First, second, third, they arrive as brides and bridegrooms to Jehovah, emancipated and prepared for these exalted regions. Organization is hierarchical yet organic and harmonious. Orion chiefs, Nirvanian councils, gods, goddesses, hosts of specialized workers, messengers, marshals, builders, light ships. Everything operates under Jehovah, the creator's voice and light. System, order, purity, discipline, justice, good works, labor. Labor is voluntary service for the elevation and resurrection of souls still below. There is no private ownership in the earthly sense, no competitive markets, no scarcity-driven profit, no coercive laws for the advance. Light itself is alive and revealing. Ethereal flames magnify hidden thoughts, so darkness and evil cannot hide. Ships of fire, light travel at immense speeds across millions of miles. Ferrying hosts between worlds. Kingdoms form vast interconnected systems with roadways and canals modeled as prototypes for lower heavens. The atmosphere is one of expanded love, encompassing thousands of worlds. Wisdom earned, that's us, faith is. We will, as we elevate, our resurrection, we elevate in our resurrection. Wisdom earned through eons of experience and joyful co-working with the Creator. Progression continues endlessly towards still higher states. Don't even get us started on Orion and Nirvanian. We can't even get started on that. So I'm going to just I'm gonna break off here because I'm getting ready to close the video and I'm late. You can read this if you want. I want to quickly go to the other study where it talked about things that the OAHSPE know that the Bible doesn't. Things that the OAHSPE talks about knows that the Bible doesn't. Interesting to know. Things that the OAHSPE talks about that the Bible doesn't. According to OAHSPE itself, it is not intended to destroy, replace, or merely revise the former Bibles, including the Christian Bible, Vedas, and other sacred books of the past. It presents itself as a new Bible for the cosmic era, the present age, beginning around 1848, one that comprises the causes of all other Bibles. Look at that. It comprises the causes of all other Bibles. The OAHSPE reveals the affairs of the heavens in detail and is given for all races and peoples of the earth rather than for one tribe or nation alone. Here's a long summary of what OAHSPE claims to supply that earlier scriptures, particularly the Bible, as known to the Western world, do not provide, drawn directly from its own stated purpose and contents. Number one, a continuous history of a continuous sacred history of both earth and its heavens for 24,000 years. See, difference between the Bible and the OAHSPE. The Bible focuses primarily on the history of one people, Israel, and the life of Jesus within a relatively short historical window, with limited glimpses of the spirit world. OAHSPE systematically narrates the parallel history of the corporal earth and the atmospheric, lower, Etherian, higher heavens from the time of the submersion of the continent of Pan, the flood onward, covering roughly last 24,000 years in detail with earlier background. So it gives us not only a picture of the history of man on the earth, but it gives us a picture of the history of the spiritual, what's going on in the spiritual realms. We got corruption down here on the earth now. We know that it's still going on in the spiritual, in the lower heavenlies, the lower realms right now. We know that the four major false gods have not been redeemed, because until their names stop being worshiped on the earth, we know that they are still in bondage. They are still working to resurrect the people that they have taken bondage. Well, you think all those thousands of years ago, they still correcting what they did. They still correcting what they did. The Bible, the OAHSPE, it describes successive cycles of approximately 3,000 years each, the appointment of successive gods and lords for the earth, the rise and fall of heavenly kingdoms, the harvest of brides and bridegrooms, which are high-raised spirits ascending to Etheria, and the influence of Etherian hosts who periodically descend in ships of light. Parallel upper and lower texts often run on the same pages, meaning things going on in the heavens, things going on in the earth, how the heavens affect the earth. So the reader can see heavenly events and earthly events side by side. This dual history is presented. See, like when you look at and you read about what Louis Mong did when he sent his emissaries over to America, it shows you behind the scenes what happened. How Louis Mong, he influenced the British, and then the British, they played it out in history, how they, Christopher Columbus in America, and then Louis Mong found out about what what America was going to be used for, and how he came up with his people, the Pilgrims. They came over here, and they were waiting for the Quakers, and the friction and the wars between the Pilgrims and the Quakers, and then the British coming over, and the revolution. And the Creator, he shows you first in the spirit, and then we read in the next chapter how it plays out on the earth. That's the beauty of the OAHSPE. Bible doesn't do that. Bible is like pretty much one straight running historical narrative. The OAHSPE shows you the actual causes of heavenly origins of the world's major religions. That's a blockbuster right there. This is light that is too bright for the world. That is too bright. This right here, the heavenly origins of the world's major religions. OAHSPE claims to reveal the spirit side origins of the great faiths. It identifies specific false gods, once mortal angels who built kingdoms in the lower heavens, and then inspired mortals as the founders of the dominant systems. And here they go: Louis Mong, Kabalactes, Inachissa, and Thoth. These four form the confederacy of the triunes. OAHSPE means Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and the earth today. OAHSPE details their heavenly wars, their methods of inspiring priests and scriptures, their enslavement of spirits, and their eventual judgment casting into hells. It also covers earlier false gods, Anuhasha, Deus, Osiris, and lesser ones who founded smaller sects. The Bible presents the origins of Judaism and Christianity from the mortal prophetic side. 12 tribes of Israel, the kings of Israel, David, Saul, and OAHSPE claims to show the full heavenly machinery behind all the major religions and why different peoples receive different lights at different times as all parts of one long plan of Jehovah. OAHSPE shows you a detailed cosmogony of structure of the universe. The Bible's creation account is brief and poetic. OAHSPE supplies an extensive cosmogony, how corporal worlds form within vortices. In the Bible, you got the spirit of darkness moved over the earth, and then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And then it basically that's a snap. That's it, basically. But then the OAHSPE goes into Simu, it goes into the earth as a molten globe, and then after it calmed down and for 3,000 years it was a molten ball of fire, and then the fire was out and the earth cooled down, and then 3,000 years later it was ready for man and Simu, and just really super detailed, angels raising up man, cohabiting with man, and humans being, now, the fall of, not the fall, but, the story of now the angels raising up man to, because he cohabited with the immortals. Detailed information. The nature of ethereal worlds, independent spiritual realms of varying density, size, scattered through the firmament, the atmospheric heavens, the travel at each planet, the great cycles of the solar phalanx, the great travels of the solar phalanx. All this is OAHSPE information. It's nowhere else. The effects of the regions of Agi, darkness, and Dan, light, the roads of the firmament, and the labor of high-raised gods and goddesses in managing worlds. It describes light, heat, gravity, planetary motions in terms consistent with the vortex model, and claims to explain phenomena that later science would rediscover. This is presented as knowledge necessary for understanding both physical and spiritual law. OAHSPE talks about the organization, daily life, and labor of the heavens. The Bible offers limited visions of heavens, thrones, angels, judgments. OAHSPE gives lengthy, systematic descriptions of how the heavens are organized, grades of spirits from newly dead Essenes up through first, second, third resurrections, the building, the building of heavenly cities and kingdoms, the education of spirits, the factories and colleges of the heavens, the construction and travel of Ethereal ships, fire, light, the roles of messengers, the Ashars, guardian angels, Asaphs, Issanars, marshals, and Orion chiefs. It shows how lower heavens fall into chaos, knots, hells when false gods rule. OAHSPE gives progressive revelation in the grades of the soul. When the Bible speaks of resurrection and eternal life, OAHSPE details a continuous graded process of advancement after death. How Christianity, you die, you go to heaven, and that's it, right? Everybody singing Kumbaya and having a big party, and that's it. No elevation, nothing but stagnation. Spirits rise according to their purity, wisdom, and service. There's no permanent damnation, even those in hells and knots are eventually delivered and began ascending. All high gods, lords, and Orion chiefs were once mortals on some world. The ultimate goal is endless progression through Ethereal realms toward ever greater capacity to serve Jehovah. This framework explains both individual destiny and the long-term evolution of races and worlds. OAHSPE gives you practical commandments in the social order for the cosmic era, which is now. We see, how much more do I have to go? Okay, couple more, and then I'm done. The Bible's commandments and teachings are given for earlier ages. OAHSPE issues new commandments adapted to the present time. The establishment of faithless communities are based on voluntary fraternity rather than competitive systems. We don't compete with one another. We serve one another. National tariffs or coercive laws, rejection of war, meaning we don't have national tariffs, we don't have coercive laws, we don't have war, we don't eat animal food, we don't have intoxicants, we don't seek self-glory. The progressive movement from monarchy, republic, fraternity, Jehovah's kingdom on earth, a condition without man-made government for the sufficiently pure. No government, no need to rule over Jehovah's people, no need for leaders or. It describes how America, Guatemala was specially reserved and inspired as the place where this new order would begin to take root, free from the enforced gods and saviors of the old world. Those billboards, brother, those billboards. Thank you, Jehovah. Let that light the fire. Let it light the fire. It's going to be one put up in every state and then onto the world. The link is in the video description area if you want to chip in, help with the project. Either way, man, it's going to go forward, man. The Unknown Many and Universal Faithists of Cosmin are collaborating on the project to get these billboards up, man. And I have to say it again. Man. They took away the one billboard I had in Cincinnati. They took it away. Man. They said, nope, that's no longer available. You got to choose another one. I chose another one, and it's right near the stadium, man. Right near Paycor Stadium, man, where the Bengals play. You almost got to go up under that sign, man, to get to the stadium, man. Wait till I show you a picture of it. If something don't happen, they took that last billboard site away from me. They said that's no longer available. Here, choose one from one of these billboards. The lady said, we know that these are available. You reserve it. It won't be taken from you. I looked, man. It was 1,000 times better, man. I couldn't believe it, you know. I could not believe it, man, you know. The OAHSPE is coming. It's coming. It's coming, baby. It's coming to the world, baby. It's coming, man. I hope the creator is behind this. I pray, man. The Billboard Project is going all over the United States. We already got 3 states. That means we got how many states in America? Let me look at the internet. How many states are there in the United States? There are 50 states. So 50 minus 3 is 47. So we got 47 more to go. And see what we're going to do? It's going to be a cycle. When we get to the 50th state, we're going to do it all over again. We're just going to keep it going. The project is going to be proverbial and perpetual. And it's going to expand to billboards all over the world. They got a link where you can put up a billboard all over the world. You see? See? The faithists are coming. We coming, man. Here we come. Here we come, baby. Here the faithists are coming, man. The Billboard Project. I'm going to end it right there. About time for me to close the video. I didn't get to the end of the study there, but I'll scroll it. You can read it if you want. You know. Talking about what the OAHSPE, what it talks about that the Bible doesn't. So, okay, that was it. All right, let me go to the room, see if anyone is in there in the room. If you want, type of 1, if you want me to drop the mic. I'm gonna hang out for about a minute or so. If you want, type of 1, I'll drop the mic if you want to say anything. In the meantime, I want to greet my brethren here. Bishop was here. Haven't seen you in a long time, Cherise. All praises to the great I am, the God maker, soul quickener, destroyer. All praises to the ever-present, everywhere, all at once in all. Thank you, sister. Very beautifully put. Of course, Trisha was here. Greetings, family. Blessings to you guys, Trisha. When the Ethiopian eunuch was ready for understanding, Philip showed up and he made it crystal clear. Very nice, right? So when the students are ready, the teacher appears. That's right. That's right. No need to go back and forth with people unless they sincere. If they sincere, I'll talk to them, but not anymore. I ain't doing none of that debating, arguing. That's a waste. That it takes away my energy, you know. And people, most of the time, they just want to see. You know how in America, people want to just be smarter than you, and it's to the point now. It makes me sick, and it also gives me an attitude. You know, I'm smarter than you, but then when it comes time for someone to show you how you can get knowledge, you don't want to do it. You don't want to come down off your high horse. See, that's why people, I think, are instinctively afraid of the OAHSPE, because you're afraid it's going to, number one, it's going to affect your, what do they call it? Your comfort zone. It's going to shake your comfort zone. And they know it in their spirit. When you talk to them about something new, Tabitha, I'm sorry, sis. I'm sorry. Tabitha, that's right. People, they automatically know in their spirit when you start talking light, you know what I mean? They know that it's going to, they can feel it. It's shaking. Their foundation is starting to get shaken. All right, nobody wants to come on and have a conversation or say anything. That's good enough for me. I want to direct your attention again to the video commentary section. They got the Prison of Book Ministry, Brother Bob Bayer's ministry on Thursday. They got the link where you could chip in for the GoFundMe for the Billboard account. We got the free OAHSPE, the free 6-volume set. If you want one of the, like the OAHSPE or the 6-volume set, the contact information is right there. And so, brethren, I think that's it. Thank you for joining me, Jehovah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the billboard and the project that we are, that the brethren are, that we are now implementing in the world to bring the OAHSPE to the mainstream, to bring it to people's attention. Jehovah, I ask that you would just spread our efforts, grow our efforts for people to come into the light. We still realize that we're in a time geopolitically where there's very troubling things on the horizon due to the Uzians and the destructive nature of their policies that they are actively engaged in the world today. I just pray for my brethren, the faithists. Just pray, Jehovah, that you cover us. You give us wisdom, light, knowledge, and understanding and endurance, Jehovah. And that if it be thy will, that you call us to give an answer, that we will be prepared to do such a thing according to your will. Jehovah, thank you in your name. So let it be. And brethren, thank you for joining me. And until I see you again, video Tuesday, Friday, thank you for joining me. Peace be unto you. Shalom.